All right. Welcome back, folks, to the FF Face Off, part of the Face Off Sports Network. We're doing an impromptu Saturday podcast. We're going to be doing a best ball draft, to be specific, best ball mania over at Underdog Fantasy. It is draft season. I mean, you're probably drafting this weekend. If you're not, you're damn sure drafting next week or weekend. We're excited to do this. We hope you can take some stuff away from this. If you have any questions, if you're in the live chat, you can feel free to ask us any questions that you might have. So there you go. Oh, there you go.
What are we doing?
No, I was just reading the chat. Pete's a little busy. I saw you said oops on the thing, so I was confused as to what was going on. So
he put Pete's name down, I think, instead of mine. Is that what you're talking about?
No, wait. Did I not tag you?
No, you didn't tag me.
What?
Did I?
Pete's more popular on Twitter anyways. So it's probably better off.
Here we go with this now. Here we go. Popularity complexes. All right, fine. So listen, we're gonna do.
That's how I feel. The Hawks are more popular than me. Everybody likes him. They don't really fucking.
Not. People don't like me. Maybe people do. I don't know.
You're a more likable person than me.
Okay.
I could be very,
prickish.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was mad earlier. You can see the chat. People do not fucking stop when you're in a Walmart parking lot. You're in the Acme parking lot. People just think they expect you to stop.
There's no social
stop. But they don't look both ways. What are you doing?
That's because people are doing their best ball drafts. They're getting ready for their home leagues and they're looking at their phones.
Another thing, I just want to. I'm glad we're going live because I really want to get this out there. So I go to pick up.
Doug is asking real quick. I'm just going to answer you, Doug. Right. The drink of the day right now is Jack on the Rocks.
My local Chinese place, they said, okay, for a credit, if you're going to pay with your card or a debit card and order under $20, is a 3% fee. Fine, whatever. But the girl says, is that okay? I'm like, well, what happens if I say no? They're like, well, we charge you anyway. So I'm like, don't ask me if it's okay. Just say, there's a 3% fee. Don't ask if that's okay. Because one person's going to argue with you. Right? Like, you don't ask if it's okay, if it's a mandatory fee. Just say, hey, there's a 3% fee for this. Don't ask, is that okay? Because somebody's going to say, no, it's not okay. And then what are you going to do? She's like, oh, you're right. I said, all right.
And then you say tough shit.
I was trying to give her a tip, make her job easier. Because one day some motherfucker's going to be like, no, that's not okay.
Yeah, a lot of people
want my Chinese food.
A lot of people bitch about that fee. But you know what? The restaurant kind of has to do that because so many people are paying with credit cards now, and the prices of everything is going up.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then people go on Facebook and Yelp and they bitch about these restaurants. Say, "Oh, why are all these restaurants going out of business?" Because you're fucking constantly bitching on online, probably all the time.
But no, it's the credit card processing. It's like there's a processing company that every time you use a debit or a credit card, they pay a processing fee. Right. So instead of the restaurant eating it. They eat if it's a $20 order and above, that's fine. But anything less, they're like, all right, you pay for it, which is fine. I don't care. I'm going to use my debit card. I don't carry cash. It's 2024. But you don't ask the person, is that okay if you're going to charge them anyway? Just say, this is what it is.
Zach Linton saying, drop a like. Appreciate that.
We should all use more cash anyway, so it'll be better off.
You do.
We'll give you guys a reason to like this show beyond Anthony being grumpy, but I do have an idea. Maybe we'll do a spin-off of this, and we'll do kind of like the Family Guy thing, like what grinds my gears, and then we'll get Anthony on there, and he could just.
I want to do a spin-off show,
3%.
Yeah, I don't know.
People not having any kind of social awareness. We'll do all that fun stuff, but we are actually physically doing a fantasy football draft. We're doing a best ball draft that's going to be happening on Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Mania. Guys, you want to join 4:15? We'll say
sounds good.
4:13 now, 4:15. So there we go.
Yeah, 83% filled now on the Best Ball Mania. So this thing is going to pop off pretty soon.
One productive thing came from that conversation, Anthony. Damon, we appreciate you showing up, man. He said he might have to go grab some Chinese food now. Yeah,
I like the chicken chow mein. It's one of the healthiest things on the menu. And it tastes really good. All the vegetables, the steamed chicken, the clear sauce.
Give me some pork fried dumplings. That's where I'm at. Give me those suckers. Wolf those things down.
if you guys are ever in the city, Lower East Side, down by like Cat's Deli over there,
Sure.
There's a Himalayan place that's absolutely awesome.
Himalayan.
Yeah, it's freaking
Himalayan.
really good. They have
Okay.
awesome dumplings. Awesome dumplings.
And
It's
we're
called
getting
Cafe. It's called Cafe Himalaya.
all right.
All right.
I like it. Yeah. We're getting a heck yeah to buffets. Yeah, nothing's better than a Chinese buffet. That's fantastic. You can go to town on that shit. But then you're in like a coma.
Oh yeah, you can't move.
Yeah, no, you're pretty much dead as a doornail at that
Last
point.
time I went to a Chinese buffet, they put me like in this back room, and there was like no music on, and there was like no pictures on the wall. I felt like I was in a fucking concentration camp.
I was gonna say, what were you getting whacked? You know, like walking like Joe Pesci and Goodfellas. You know?
All right. Wait, I actually got to pull my phone up. So yeah, it's almost 5:15, 4:15.
Yeah, we were gonna join at 4:15. Are you gonna be ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
All right. Here we
go. Bang.
Oh, okay. My thing's not working.
One person. Oh fuck.
Oh god.
Mine it says starts filled soon.
Nope. I'm waiting for 11 people.
Oh fuck.
Or I think Steve and me are together though.
Yeah, you guys are together.
Let me see. Yeah,
no, we 100% are.
Yep.
All right. So that's good.
Feeling like hotcakes.
The problem.
What should we do here? Should we just
That's a
roll
great
it?
question.
What do you mean? Should we roll? We have to roll the show.
No, I was going to say
Obviously.
maybe if you wanted to try to get into another draft together
and do them simultaneously.
Do two at once. No, that's fine.
That's fine. Just go with that. You're going to have to kind of navigate how your draft is going, though, then, because I'm not going to be able to see it.
Well, it's going to be on the screen.
Yeah, I could do that. Let's do this. Let's go over here. Let me get there. That's what she said.
I'm going to put the board on the screen. What is being shown on the screen right now? The right board?
No,
the actual
our
board?
Faces.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Okay.
You haven't added that yet. All right, I'm going to try it that way. Go over here. Do this. Get rid of that.
Oh, okay.
Go.
There you go. Click the grid now. We're good.
All right. So what do we got? Christian McCaffrey goes off the board first.
Yeah, I had the number one pick. I had the number one pick. I go McCaffrey. Obviously, the last update with McCaffrey is he's looking spiry. If the season was in play right now, he'd be out there. So all systems a go for Christian McCaffrey, and I still think he deserves to be number one pick. So, if you want to go Bijan or Brees or Tyreek or CD or something like that too, that's totally fine. But still think, he is a very, very solid number one pick, and he should deliver once again.
No, I like that. I mean, it's hard not to go CMC from that. Even if he doesn't get the workload, because he got about over 400 touches last year, he still should be super efficient, even if they cut him back by 25, 30 touches.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're in a home league drafting, you have the number one pick, those are going to tend to be RB heavy. So, I think I prefer to take a running back, if it's not CMC, I'm going to try to get Bijan or Brees, because a lot of people are going to take running backs. It's not going to be like in, one of these best ball drafts where the receivers are going to fly off as much. So grab McCaffrey, grab a Bijan, grab Brees with your, top 5 picks. I feel pretty good about that.
Now I am pick 10. Ooh, I haven't had a lot of pick 10s.
You're 11.
I'm 11. Okay, and I don't really love this spot either. Jesus God. I am going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. I do not like Puka from this spot. And, picking so close to the turn, ideally, I'm going to pick a wide receiver and a running back. Let's see what falls to me.
I think it's safe to say had Brees Hall been there, then that would have been where you gone. But Brees went
obviously, yeah.
And I don't know, very nice.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is nice. I got him today. I was picking 8th in a DraftKings best ball, and I got him 8th, Brees Hall. So I felt good about that too. So 10's great.
Yeah, it's the wide receiver frenzy that we continue to see on these formats.
I don't have a lot of Gibbs at all, and I'm taking him here. We're getting to the point where I need some variance, and I know I do not have a Harrison Gibbs build at all. So let's see how this team looks.
All right. Yeah, we're getting some questions in here like, does New York have better Philly sandwiches than Philly? Probably, because New York's awesome. That's what I would say. Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I haven't tried a lot of the cheesesteaks in Philly. Like, I've been to a couple of the big spots, but I know there's a lot of really good, that's like their thing down there. So I'll give them that. Pizza, forget about it. But, I'll give Philly the cheesesteaks at least. That's their thing.
Yeah, whatever makes them happy.
I lived in Philly when I was a little bit younger as an adult. And you have like the two bit. There is a third cheesesteak place that's not Pat or Gino's. That's better than Pat and Gino's. People who actually live there are like
Angelo's.
Hey, I think so.
Yeah, that place is blowing up, and supposedly they have really good pizza too.
I think so, but it's like they said like you have Pat and Gino's are the famous ones, but this is the one that people who live here love.
Have you ever been to Donkey's in Camden?
No.
That's supposed to have really good cheesesteaks too.
Interesting. Donkeys.
Yeah. Bourdain was there. He said it's like the best cheesesteak he ever had when he was doing those shows.
Wow.
All right. So where are we on this draft board now? Oh, this paused for me. I gotta get live on that one. All right. So it's actually going back to you, Steve. You're almost up. You got 2 picks here since you were at the 101. Any thoughts here as you're getting into this?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of I'm going to build this a little bit more like a home league draft for the listeners, because I know a lot of people have their drafts this weekend. So let's go with Derrick Henry. We get 2 running backs there, and we'll come back with the receiver here. I have been drafting a lot of Jalen Waddle because, it's so center focused around Tyreek. He was inconsistent. He's been banged up. The running game. But obviously, Jalen Waddle is an electric receiver. The question is, do I want to take him here? Or do I want to go Devontae? But we'll switch it up. I haven't got a lot of Jalen Waddle, so 3rd round, it's fine.
I want to put this question to both of you because
we do have a question in the chat. We'll get to next, but no. Go ahead with yours, and then we'll answer Johnny next.
Do we feel that the fantasy landscape is shifting more to the running back than the past few years, because it's always been punt running back, zero running back, hero running back? But I feel like I am liking a lot more teams. I'm seeing guys, a lot of the OG notable, fantasy guys that I respect, like the running back build, or at least coming out of the first 2 rounds with the receiver and a running back. Are we seeing that more? And maybe it's like, more of the millennial, or what do you call it? Like the younger kids, go all the wide receivers. That's a trendy thing to do. But I feel like early running backs are becoming a thing again.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I guess I could see it. I'm not against it. I just didn't really take a big notice of it. But I mean, I do think that you have this year, you have 3 backs that you say can all finish number 1.
I mean, look at the first round. We usually we're having 4 running backs go in the first round now.
Yeah.
And then like you're looking in the second round, like you could start CMC, and depending on who, and maybe still wind up with a Travis Etienne, maybe not Etienne, but like a Devin Achane if he falls. Like, why wouldn't you want to start with those 2, with those ceilings?
I mean, I could have got Etienne there. I took Henry.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could do that. You could certainly do running back. And I think some people are starting to do that. But yeah, I mean, you got a lot of these younger heads. Like I was told, you guys saw the draft I did. I'm drafted a bunch of like 20-year-old, like young 30-year-olds. I'm drafting running back, getting called boomer left and right. But you could still end up with a lot of good receivers. You could take 2 running backs, and then you could come back and take a Waddle. You could take a Higgins. You could take a Terry McLaurin. You could take a George Pickens possibly. So Yeah, I mean, you could definitely make it work, or you could go hero running back and then go 4 receivers. I mean, there's multiple different ways you could do it. You could start your draft with receivers, and then you can end up with like an Aaron Jones or a Kenny Walker or like a Joe Mixon or Najee Ramondre. So you can make your team multiple different ways. It's kind of like, you got to play the draft to see what what your rankings are, what you're going by. And just take the guys who you think is going to score the most points at that.
And I did just take ETN. I think he's a big time value in the third, in the third round here.
Hell yeah. 311. That's nice.
And now I'm back. If the receivers that were on the board, I thought ETN was the best player on the board.
And I agree with that. Like a lot of times these running backs are sitting there and these people are just like, I got to draft receivers because that's what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
So like, I think people get too caught up in that, like go receiver. Maybe they're worried about the receivers coming off the board, but you do have some quality receivers down the line, like Chris Godwin. You got Deontay Johnson. We saw Bryce Young look really good today. Hollywood Brown, even, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Lad McConkey, Jameson Williams, there's a lot of big names, DeAndre Hopkins, Cortland Sutton. So like, you don't have to get all giddy, and you get a guy like Travis Etienne, who's been consistent year in and year out, so yeah.
And I just took Kelsey with my first pick in the fourth, like Kelsey in the fourth round. I'm sorry. I will fucking take it every time.
So we are getting asked a question here in the chat. He says he needs some help. Anthony, I'll put my answer would be Nico Collins, but I'll give this one to you, Anthony. So I need some help. Nico Collins or Trey McBride as a keeper in my last round of the draft. It is a PPR league. I would just go Nico, to be honest with you. I get the allure. Obviously, there's a reason you're asking the question, but I would go Nico for me.
What was the other option? Nico or Trey McBride? Nico Collins. Yeah. And Nico Collins, long-term play, right? Like, I get there's Diggs here. Diggs will not be there next year. Right. He was just signed a long-term deal, and he's tied to an ascending quarterback. And it really, the offense, with that offensive coordinator, it's hard to say no to Nico Collins. I get McBride's a nice player, but there are other tight ends I like. Plus, I think there's a little bit more volatility, and I love Kyler this year, but there's more volatility from what we know historically with Kyler Murray and injuries.
So Steve is now coming up on the clock. We can't, Anthony, based on where our faces are, we can't see his picks though, but he'll read them off to us. But I will just say, if you guys are in here, if you're watching along on the YouTube, while you can ask your questions, feel free to hit the like button. And the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got 6 likes so far. Appreciate you. We got 15 people watching right now. Steve is upset with whatever just happened.
I wanted George Pickens there, and the guy sniped me a little bit. But I get Terry McLaurin. And I'm going to go with who I think is a very, very high upside guy this year, and Xavier Worthy. He's looked great in the preseason. He's not just a speedster; he's a route runner too. Hollywood Brown's still out of camp, and I think he could be the Chiefs' Tank Dell per se. So I could come back later. I could grab a Jaden Daniels to stack with Terry McLaurin.
Has Rashee Rice gone off the board yet in your draft? I'm not seeing his name.
Yeah, he's gone.
He is. Where was he? I'm looking here. Oh, there you go. In the late third. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say a lot of people are asking now, or a lot of people are talking about Rashee Rice being a great pick at this point. But I think now so many people are realizing that because they're realizing he's not going to be suspended, that he is now creeping up in ADP. I'm assuming we're going to do another mover show, ADP mover show.
Our
next
final
week. So,
one, the season finale.
Our final one of the season. So I imagine we'll get Rashee Rice. Yeah. So we'll have all the drama there, but I'm sure Rashee Rice will be discussed. So there you go.
It will be better than the Game of Thrones and the Dragons season finale because those both sucked. So this will be much better.
Listen,
it was so bad. It was
anybody listening right now, whether you're live, podcast, next week's lineup of shows, we're closing out off-season content. So Monday, sleepers and busts, right? Like some, flag plants there. Wednesday, our final ADP movers. Friday will be our my guys, our flag plants, whatever hell anybody wants to call it. And I believe Thursday, Steve and I and whoever else wants to join, NFL futures, win total, Super Bowl picks. So like this fucking week is going to be a loaded week of programming.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might not sleep. I don't sleep anyway.
No, you can't sleep till February now.
Business is booming on the FFA stuff.
That's why. That's why after the season last year, I had insomnia for 2 weeks. It fucked me all up. But those are the sacrifices you make for the things you love. So,
Steve, I'm going to ask you a question as Anthony gets ready to pick his what are we at? His 5th pick of the draft, the 5th round. We do have a question coming in on YouTube from Mr. Pablo Garcia. Pablo, we appreciate the support. He said, should I trade Amon-Ra St. Brown and James Conner for Saquon Barkley and Garrett Wilson? So
yes.
2 for 2. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Why?
Well, Garrett Wilson, he's a better receiver than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Is Amon-Ra St. Brown in a better situation? Has he been the better fantasy producer? Yeah, by far. But this year we're betting on what we expect to happen, and that's Aaron Rodgers staying healthy, and it could be absolute dynamite. Look at Aaron Rodgers in the past with Devontae Adams and how much he put Devontae Adams. I mean, Devontae Adams is great in his own right, but when you get a receiver of that caliber paired with a quarterback of that caliber, I mean, lights out. I mean, I think some people have Garrett Wilson their top 5 receiver rankings. I have him there. Then also Saquon Barkley over Connor. I prefer that as well now in Philly.
All right. Good stuff.
Now, I'm going to say I'm up again. I took Godwin, and I'm going to, once I'm up, hopefully this guy picks soon. I'm going to reach a little bit for a player I've been taking a lot lately. And, this is best ball. It's a tournament. I don't see high ceilings with Kirk, Allen, or Jaden Reed or Deontay. So I will reach, because I don't think he's coming back to me, for Christian Watson.
I don't hate it.
I believe in all my FFPC teams right now, I have, I need to kind of cut back on Christian Watson, but that's a redraft format that turns into a best ball style tournament in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is the type of guy, like if this guy stays healthy, I think Christian Watson's going to be a league winner.
Which, again, it's been well documented. You talked about it. Pete's talked about it. The whole hamstring thing. He did do the homework, the research to try and make sure those hamstrings are good to go. So, I like all of the Packers receivers. I like where they're going in drafts. I think they're all going to be productive in their own little way. But, yeah, Christian Watson would be my favorite of the bunch. Anthony, I wanted to ask you a question.
All right.
We have a question coming in from our resident troll, ATL, but it is a good question, so we will get to it. He says, with the absence of CeeDee Lamb and Ayuk from camp, does it affect fantasy value for Prescott and Purdy? I would personally say no, but Anthony?
Yes, for Dak Prescott it does.
For Dak Prescott? Well,
I mean,
for
if Purdy Lamb doesn't show up?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's he throwing to?
Okay.
I think Purdy will be
Ferguson.
Purdy will be fine. I think Purdy's going to be Purdy.
Me too.
But I mean, obviously, with how efficient Ayuk was, you can downgrade Purdy a little bit. Like maybe I take Tua over him. Dak,
sure. Okay.
Dak falls behind Jordan Love for me. Dak falls if you told me, okay, CeeDee Lamb will not play it down for Dallas this year, Dak is outside of my top 15.
Could you imagine what a nightmare that would be? Holy shit, that would be rough.
I
get it. I think they get a deal done, saying the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm now at the point where I don't think Ayuk is in the huddle for week 1. And I just think that means, for DFS purposes, well, it's going to be a Monday game, so you're not going to get on the full slate. George Kittle is going to get fucking peppered with targets. Peppered. So, whatever.
Who are they playing?
The Jets, week 1. Monday Night Football.
Wow.
Yep. And given my soon-to-be divorce, that game means a little more to me.
Who's your back? Who's the backup quarterback, just in case?
You would go with this shit now.
Just in case,
Josh Dobbs.
Right. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. He's working with spaceships right now. He's good. We're good. We're good over
trying to get those astronauts
game.
Out of space, like we were talking.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh revenge game.
Okay. Good.
By the way,
Solomon Thomas revenge game too. Come on with the Jets. I support the Jets, but I'm telling you right now, listen, we curse on this show. I hope we kick that fucking Dixon week 1.
Yeah.
I hope
let's go, baby.
I hope we win by 30 points.
I hope we fucking pick off Brock Purdy 3 times.
Walk into Santa Clara.
pass by fucking Sauce into the end zone to open up Monday night.
Yeah. Woo! Woo! Yeah, woo! Okay. All right. Fuck. I'm gonna be fucking amped for that game. Holy shit!
You remember what I was telling you guys? I was watching that sleep video. The night team on the West Coast has a big advantage on a night game, according to all the studies, because their time clocks are so off. The East Coast teams. But in general, the West Coast team has a better advantage, even if they play on the East Coast, because they're playing at 4 o'clock their time or 5 o'clock their time. Whereas the East Coast team is playing into the night, 9, 10 o'clock. So normally they're not used to that. So the West Coast team in a night game has a statistically a better advantage. So that's something to look forward to. But hopefully the Jets can overcome that and, smash the Niners a little bit.
Anyway, so the Jets, they're going to walk into Santa Clara. They're going to get open hand slapped. They're going to get turned around. They're going to get kicked in the ass out the fucking door. And, since we don't have
talking a lot of shit, better
I
hope
am
it comes
talking a lot of
through.
shit. We're since we don't have a ton of pizza bets, Steve, I'll do a pizza bet with you. Week 1, who wins? Niners, Jets.
Oh yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Hell yeah.
All right, fuck that. Thank you for the pizza. Appreciate that. It's very nice of you.
I'm getting plus odds on that. That's nice.
Where's the graphic with the kid with the pizza? We got to get that going.
Well, I'm making my draft pick. So,
oh, geez, all right. I'm sorry, you have priorities beyond the show, which is actually
Mike. How's you're doing another draft at the same time?
Yeah, it's
how's that looking?
Since I'm hosting this, it's kind
of messes it up a little bit. I know.
I kind of accidentally got Sam Laporta and George Kittle, so I've got the strongest fucking tight end room.
But all right. That's that double hero. That's not abnormal. Just don't draft another tight end.
I got Jaden Daniels, Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, Nico Collins, Calvin Ridley, Jamison Williams, and then Laporta and Kittle. That's what I got right now.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah,
that's like going with 2 top quarterbacks, right? Like if I took Burrow and Jordan Love.
Yeah. It's just I guess kind of unconventional. So, Anthony, for the people who are listening, how's your team looking so far? Who'd you take? Because you just had your last 2 picks. Don't forget to scroll down there so the beautiful people can see as the draft unfolds. But
I had my last pick. I'm almost on the clock now.
Oh, you're almost on the clock. I'm sorry. I thought you made your other pick. Go ahead.
Taking a quarterback and.
I will just read this from Pablo while you debate what to do. Then you can let us know. Pablo did say, thank you for answering the question. Anytime, Pablo, you like and subscribe, you come back. We'll answer all your questions about the fantasy football season. He said, I felt pretty good about the trade. I also have Jamar Chase on my lineup, so I didn't feel too bad for giving up St. Brown for Garrett Wilson. Yeah, good luck, man. And Pablo, again, man, don't be a stranger. Come back, and we got you covered. Pete has a new pizza bet idea, probably while he's half in the bag. We'll get to that in a moment. Go ahead, Anthony. What'd you do, man?
So I just took my first quarterback, Jordan Love, and obviously I have Christian Watson, so I'll read you my position. So Jordan Love, Gibbs, Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Godwin, Christian Watson, Travis Kelce. Again, 4th round pick at tight end. I'll take that. Him in the 4th almost every time. Yeah. I like the team. Now I feel like I need to go after wide receiver a little bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably what you're doing next. Oh, Jesus, Pete, that is actually a good idea. Pete said bets should be 2 guys have to put together IKEA furniture.
No, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
I put together my shelf.
That's very good. That's very good.
And then I put together a couple weeks ago, I got one of those big, long standing mirrors for my wife that has it opens up, has a light in it. She puts her jewelry and shit, makeup.
The other aspect of that bet that Pete had was that the loser has to pay for the other person's furniture. Jeez, Pete, getting steep on us. All right.
So he must be at IKEA right now.
He's probably drunk at an IKEA. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Staring at some sofas. Maybe he's sitting on the sofa watching our show.
Isn't Wayfair like IKEA only online?
Sure, something like that. Yeah, it's good times.
I like Wayfair. My wife likes Wayfair.
That's good. Can you scroll down so that people can see the draft board?
No,
I just got auto picked Trevor Lawrence by accident.
I
took Jaden Daniels, and then I was going to take Dobbs or Shakir, and I was going to leave Dobbs on the board to leave.
Shakir would have been
another
nice
possible
too.
Piece, but I do have a double stack there with Daniels and McLaurin, and then I have Lawrence and Brian Thomas. But I wanted to grab either a tight end or a receiver. Then I was thinking too long on the clock.
That's another guy we should think about putting onto our ADP movers and mover show is Brian Thomas, because we've been hearing a lot of people. I mean, it started last week when he had that great week of practice against the Buccaneers. Yesterday in preseason, or maybe the day before, I'm sorry, I forget, but his last preseason game, he was raking in some targets there too. So people are starting to take notice of what's going on there with Brian Thomas in Jacksonville. So,
well, we don't just put players on these shows; their ADP has to be moving in order to qualify.
Well, what I'm suggesting to you is based on what I'm telling you is I think those ADPs are moving. So
I'm pretty sure we did
Rashee Rice and Brian Thomas.
We did talk about him a couple weeks ago on ADP movers, I think, because he did start to go up after that preseason catch, because there was a lot of camp reports. He wasn't doing much in camp, and he was behind Gabe Davis and all this. So, and then he catches one pass, and everybody gets all giddy again, and now he's starting to blow up. Another nice catch yesterday.
So, you guys want to hear something funny? So, again, I told you, since I'm not in the draft with you guys, I'm not paying attention fully to my draft here. And I just got auto picked. I got another tight end.
Oh my God. You're like, yeah, well, that's what the auto pick does. They love the tight end.
Queue. Put them in the queue.
Yeah, I know. I got priorities. I'm more invested in hosting this wonderful show, answering questions on the YouTubers, which, by the way, you YouTubers that are watching, we got 15 of you watching right now. Feel free to like the show. We appreciate it immensely. Right now, we're at 10 likes. So God bless you all for liking the show. If you want to, of course, you can hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. You'll be alerted every single time that we go live. We're going to be giving you content all season long. We're not going to sleep till February, much like Steve was saying. So there you go.
Yeah, getting back to Brian Thomas again, first round pick, led college football in touchdowns last year. Runs like a 4.3, 4.2, 6.3. I mean, he's different. So Kirk is a little bit banged up. Ingram's starting to look great yesterday. 2 more touchdowns, but he could beat out Gabe Davis. He could beat out Kirk for that number 1 spot. So, he's a rookie, but he's still a good value. And I've been loving clicking on Brian Thomas.
Me too. Anthony, props to you. Steve talked about accidentally getting Trevor Lawrence. He wanted Khalil Shakir. You got him at the end of the round.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Good work by you. Great pick. I mean, it would have even been a great pick had Steve gotten him. The fact that he fell to the end of the round and you got him. Who'd you take with your next player and why?
Rashid Shaheed. One of my favorite best ball targets.
Okay.
Yeah, those are good spots for Shaheed and Shakir, and sometimes Shakir goes up to like the 7th round, depending on the draft. But I mean, most of the time, like 9th, 10th, 11th round, even sometimes. And I mean, it's just going to be, it's just such a great spot for him this year.
Is there a concern that he's not out there in 2 wide sets? That I saw something that he hasn't been.
Yeah,
it doesn't scare me all that much.
Oh, good shit.
But like think about you have some teams, right? Like let's take Philly in a 2 wide set. Who's to say that maybe that they take a playoff? Devonta's not out there because he needs a rest. It doesn't mean just because you're the number 2 receiver doesn't mean you're going to be second in targets per se.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I'm down with that. All right, we're a few picks away from Steve making his next pick. Steve, talk about your team and talk about what you're trying to do next year as your book ended there with the first pick.
I got to grab a receive here. I still don't have a tight end, so I got to probably go receiver tight end here. I'm pretty strong at running back still, and I was kind of trying to build this like more of a home, type league, getting running backs early and kind of try to show the viewers, what you could still get at receiver. And in a home league, normally more running backs are going to be eaten up early, so there's going to be even more value at receiver. And I wouldn't have taken freaking Trevor Lawrence once again. I would have taken Romeo Dobbs or Shakir as my fifth receiver rather.
Right.
So let's see who I'm going to grab at receiver here. I'll grab Jerry Jeudy. I'm not crazy about that pick. Jerry Jeudy is very frustrating. And then at tight end, I'm going to grab Pat Freiermuth.
I like it.
The Steelers are going to play a lot of 12 personnel. Roman Wilson's still not healthy. Van Jefferson stinks. So, I mean, you're going to get Freiermuth could be the number 2 option there.
Yep. 100% agree with that.
ATL, our resident troll, did ask for the future show, can you discuss coaches on a short leash? Maybe we'll do a side video on that. That sounds like a good idea, though, ATL. Appreciate the support. Yeah. Maybe we can make a side video on that. Coaches.
Dennis Allen, first coach.
Dennis Allen. The D in Dennis stands for douche. I mean, Kendre Miller something must have happened there.
Kendre Miller slept with Dennis's wife.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe during a team party.
Dennis's wife keeps talking about Kendre.
Yeah, maybe they were in the pool room.
When are we going to invite that young running back over for dinner again?
Yeah.
By the way, honey, you can go to sleep. I'll clean up.
Yeah. I was going to say something terrible. Got caught watching Kendre Miller videos. That's caught in the act. Well, okay. No, but that is rough though, man. Dennis Allen does not like Kendre Miller.
Dennis Allen gives me some weird. Fucking Urban Meyer vibes with how he treats his team.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the way he answered the Kamara question, whether why Kamara wasn't show up. He thinks it's related to the back. He's not sure.
Yeah, all seriousness, he has no issues throwing his players under the bus. And I get it. There's 2 ways to go about it. There's the, people hate the PC, being protective of everybody and this and that. Then there's the tough love that you can do. But Dennis Allen's over on the other side. He doesn't care. Kyle Shanahan's a tough love guy, but he doesn't really, I don't think anybody throws their players under the bus in the NFL quite like Dennis Allen does. I think he's made that into an art form. Anthony, you are up. I did see you took Darnell. Well, you're not up yet. We are waiting for your picks here. 2 picks.
I did take Darnell, and then I'll be up again.
Take Darnell Mooney, whom I just can't quit. I love Darnell Mooney. Again,
good value.
Where you're getting him, you're not sacrificing a lot. Kirk Cousins wanted him there in Atlanta.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah, I've been starting to click on a little bit more. I've always kind of been a Mooney guy, and I've been the 11th round. Very nice with Captain Kirk there.
Yeah.
Nice little guy to add as your receiver. 5, 6, 7, or 6, something like that. 6, 7.
Good job, Anthony. Well, yeah, and that was Anthony's mission. His mission was to start to hammer the wide receivers, and he's hammering it all right. So we'll see what he does with his next pick.
I was going to say, Ant, since you got Love, it's always nice you can get Dontavian Wicks late too.
Yeah.
And certainly he's a very good receiver. That's something that I like to do, get at least 2 of those package receivers. And if I don't do that, then late, maybe my last pick, because I'm more of a Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave guy, I kind of click on Tucker Kraft as my last pick.
Why don't you like Musgrave, or why Kraft? Is it price, or do you value them the same player?
Yeah, it's price, but I just thought when I remember watching both of them, I just liked Tucker Kraft more. So if I get him a lot cheaper, so it just makes a lot more sense to me.
Okay. I don't have a ton of shares of Packers tight ends, best ball, what have you. I don't have a ton of shares. I'm gonna go.
Can you imagine if because and I'm not trying to be funny here, but the actual Green Bay Packers name used to be the Meat Packers. Can you imagine that name in 2024 Twitter?
No.
That'd be a good name for AJ Dillon, maybe.
But that's a true story.
Yeah. No, I know it is.
It was a Green Bay. It was a meat packing company that they were named after or sponsored by.
I remember. No, I've heard that story. I don't think you're not joking around there. That's a real thing.
One more thing, I just mentioned Marshawn Lloyd. That's another guy that's kind of being forgotten about because he came out that first snap in the first preseason game and hurt his hammy, and he hasn't been back yet. But AJ Dillon has a neck stinger that he had last year that kept him out some games, and they're talking about he's got to get additional testing. So It is possible Marshall and Lloyd, could be that backup. Maybe not week 1, but maybe week 2. I know Emmanuel Wilson, that running back. I think am I pronouncing his name right? Emmanuel Wilson. He showed up a little bit in the preseason. I guess he could start as the number 2 early on, or one of these random guys. But Marshall and Lloyd is really, really good, man. So he's a great value in best ball. I think it's perfect. Click on his name.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not sure where we're at on the draft board there, Anthony. I'll scroll down a little bit. I'm just trying to, navigate this show. Shit. As the world turns. Oh, Steve is on the clock. Steve's on the clock with 2 picks. Takes Josh Downs. My eyesight is still good. That's fantastic. We'll see who he takes next.
Yeah, I clicked on Pete's boy right there.
Yeah.
He has the high ankle sprain. That obviously concerns me because that's something that could kind of linger all year. But again, 12th round, he's my wide receiver 6. And, I'm not going to hate on it.
Hey, Jalen Wright, who's been getting a little bit of buzz, is the pick for Steve there. We talked about this off air. I did a best ball draft on DraftKings where I got A-Chain, Mostert, and Jalen Wright. Steve, what are your thoughts on Jalen Wright? Big body back, they say, but he's got a ton of speed. There are durability concerns with the players above him on the depth chart. You think he can see some action this year?
Yeah, I think he may see some action regardless, even if those guys stay healthy. Now, obviously, you're probably going to need an injury for him to be really, truly relevant. But again, it's best ball. You're just waiting out and see if he can kind of earn a role at some point in the season. He certainly looks good. His college tape looks good. He looked good in the preseason, and he's in a great situation. So as your 4th running back with high upside, I always like picking him.
So the 4 p.m. tomorrow FFPC draft is almost full. Why is that? Just, do you think there's going to be a lot of heavy hitters in there, Steve?
You mean tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Yeah.
Probably because maybe today's slower because people are out and doing stuff. So Sunday.
But out of all of them, that's the one that's
could be. I mean, sometimes what happens is some of those drafts fill up, and then people see it's almost filled. So
the 10 p.m. is two seats left. The 4 p.m. is 4 seats. I'm trying to get into one of these FFPC drafts tomorrow.
How much is that entry on that?
$350.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so all those formats are the same. The RotoWire OC, the FFPC, the FFWC player, the Las Vegas one, the RotoWire OC, and the Fantasy Pros are all $350 price points. And they're all similar. I mean, they're all kind of a little bit different in their own ways, but those are those are the drafts that most people do the most of, because the other ones you're getting up to $2,000 for those main events, which is, unless you're a true big dog, you're not going to be doing a lot of those.
Anthony is now waiting for the next 2 picks, and then he will go again. His last 5 picks were Khalil Shakir, Rashid Shaheed, Darnell Mooney, Ezekiel Elliott, who can fall into the end zone and solve some of the red zone woes from the Dallas Cowboys from last year. And he gets himself another quarterback with Mr. Baker Mayfield. Anthony, I know you're getting ready to pick. Steve, I want to go to you on this one. Deshaun Watson went after Anthony took Baker Mayfield. We heard some issues with, I guess, tired arm or a sore arm or sore shoulder. I mean, you're not drafting him high. Clearly, he's going at this point. You guys are in that was the end of the 10th round, I believe, or the 11th round.
14,
or maybe later.
14. Yeah.
Sorry.
He went end of the 13th. He last played the 13th round.
My eyes are only so good. So, all right. So he went at the end of the 13th. So you're not sacrificing a lot for him. But how much are you worried about that? Because that ties into Cleveland Browns pass catchers, which you have Jerry Jeudy. I mean, do we trust Deshaun Watson to stay healthy, or are we okay relying on Jameis Winston after Watson goes down?
I mean, Winston, I remember there was a game last year where I think I bet against the Browns on Survivor, and Watson was actually playing pretty well. Or maybe it was Flacco. One of them got hurt, and then Winston came in and made 3 horrendous throws in a row, just missing guys left and right. But at least if he comes in, there's going to be a lot of passing volume, and he's going to sling it and give guys chances. So I'm not I feel pretty safe still with Jameson back there, and we've seen him have big years fantasy wise, even if he's missing a ton of throws and throwing a ton of picks. But as far as Watson's shoulder, I mean, there's still questions about this guy, and the Browns got to be freaking really biting their nails all the money they gave this guy. And if he completely falls apart, and this is like the last year, I think, basically, that he's got to prove himself. It could just be, a true disaster there. So there's definitely some concern. I normally don't take him unless I take like Amari Cooper or like a Njoku and like as my second quarterback, just to get that stack. That's like the only time I'm really going to do it.
Cautionary tale.
To piggyback off that, I'm with you where I'm only taking him to stack. I thought about taking him on this build, even though I don't have another Brown. The reason why I did it was bye week. But I'm not. I'm not mad. I got Baker with Godwin, but like do you guys? I mean, I get what the obvious answer is. Yes, it was a mistake for the Browns to do that, but in theory, was it really that much of a like? If it worked out, it wouldn't have been a mistake. This is a Browns team that have been starved and at the bottom in a laughing stock. Sometimes you got to take a shot. And maybe it doesn't work with Deshaun Watson, but like I don't hate them for trying.
I think it was the guaranteed money. Like, wasn't it like a shitload of guaranteed money they gave him?
The whole contract's guaranteed. Right. The whole contract.
Well, obviously, and he obviously was a prick off the field. But that aside, like you can't. I don't blame I don't blame certain teams who like, hey, like we need to do something here.
Well, again, I mean, kind of what Steve was kind of alluding to, which I think me and him are on the same page, him and I, whatever you want to say. I don't mind the Browns taking a shot to go and get him. What I mind is they just backed up the Brinks truck and gave him all this guaranteed money, which was kind of unprecedented at that time.
Yeah.
This is why you don't give a guy a fully guaranteed contract who hasn't played football in over a year. So I don't, whatever. I get it. The Browns were trying to, amp things up, and they've come a long way. But the guaranteed money is whatever. And I think Steve agrees with that.
If you look at the team, like this is a good football team.
It is.
So, like, let's say if Deshaun does have a good year, who knows what the ceiling is for this Cleveland Browns team? Like, look what they did last year in a year where. They had like Dorian Thompson. I don't even know his the fucking kid's name starting at quarterback.
DTR.
And Nick Chubb was out. Like this is a good football team. Like, and for their fan base, I want them to succeed.
I mean, they beat the 49ers, who represented the NFC in this past year's Super Bowl. They beat them, so that's saying something. They're good. I hate that they gave him a guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a scumbag and everything else. I know all that stuff, but just in general, to give a player a guaranteed contract of that magnitude who hadn't played football in over a year, I mean, it's dicey. It's dicey. Steve, did you have any other points on that? Or you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm same thing you just said, basically. Yeah. I don't mind them taking a shot, but they could have probably worked a better deal than that.
Right. Yeah.
It was a bad deal, as Trump would say. Shitty deal.
I think the Falcons were in on that too, but I don't think the Falcons would have given him a fully guaranteed contract either. So I wonder how many. I wonder how many owners, when they saw that news, like a fully guaranteed contract, I wonder how many owners sat back and were like, "You MFers."
Yep. Oh no,
what are you doing? That
definitely happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anthony, I left Marshall and Lloyd there on your plate. If you want to take them, I saw you take Likely. That's a great pick. But if you want to take Marshall and Lloyd here. He's here sitting in the 16th round.
And fuck it. I was going to go Tracy, but I'll take Lloyd.
Nice. And you got the Packers. You got Jordan Love, so it makes more sense for you.
I like Tracy a lot, as usually, like if I want a running back this late, and I normally don't even take 6 running backs in this, but I don't love my running back room in particular, like after Najee. Like when I took Zeke, I was actually looking like, all right, like I think Chuba Hubbard, because I love Hubbard this year. I think he's actually going undervalued. I figure because he was, his ADP was like, all right, he's going to fall back to me. Running backs zoomed after Zeke. So then I'm like, well, like Bucky, and I like Bucky. So I think I needed to roster 6, and that is not normally what I do, especially in this format.
Yeah. I like it. I like the Zeke pick too, because I mean, no, I do. I'm saying I like the Zeke pick.
It's
What's your eye roll? I'm saying I like it.
all right.
I've always been a Zeke guy.
I don't know how much
that.
I don't even know how much I like it at this point.
I just think the reason why I like it is I think I said it earlier when you made the pick was like Tony Pollard had a clear issue getting into the red zone, and I've mentioned this so many times in the show. You and I would text during the season when that would happen. We would say, "What if Zeke was there?"
Yeah.
Now is Zeke what he was? When he came out of college, obviously not. But is Zeke good enough to punch those in? Which they may need that now more than ever if they don't have CD. So, yeah. So I like it. Yeah. I'm actually not being a dick about the Cowboys, Andy. I actually genuinely mean that.
I just can't fathom a world that CD is not there. But
me too. Which why I think something gets done.
If that would make zero sense if that happened.
If Jerry doesn't get it done, it is because my conspiracy theory is he's sabotaging Dak so we can pay Dak less. How do you do that? You give him nothing to work with. And it's a cop-out. And let's say Dak goes somewhere else, he's going to say, "Well, this is why I didn't want to pay him what he wanted, $65 million a year, because he couldn't." And not for nothing. Like you look at you look at Mahomes, and they Kelsey was banged up last year. Sky Moore was he was supposed to be a thing. Kadarius Toney, and Mahomes. Obviously Dak isn't Mahomes, but like some quarterbacks can.
Dak's pretty damn good though.
Dak needs a lot of help. I think that playoff loss to Green Bay might have pissed Jerry off.
I mean, that was rough, especially for the fact that it was in Dallas too. Like,
I'm
so
sorry.
What do you do though? Jerry, you go off the deep end and just say, "Fuck, I'm going to destroy the team."
Maybe
that's Anthony's conspiracy.
Maybe
fuck this shit.
That's
McCarthy, he's a free. McCarthy doesn't have a deal.
Style.
McCarthy doesn't have a deal this year either.
Yeah, well,
he can fucking clean house.
Well, I think we all thought even before all this stuff with CD. I think we all know this is Mike McCarthy's last year in Dallas. You talk about coaches that are on the hot seat. I mean, yeah, his seat's on fire.
Yeah,
because that guy ain't coming back. Now, is he fired in the middle of the season? I highly doubt that. Things would have to go really bad for Dallas.
Yeah.
For McCarthy to be let go during the year, but yeah. My draft is over. I don't want to talk about it because I got auto picked a couple times more because I was paying attention to the show. That's okay. It's a sacrifice I make. I love the show. But we are getting up to Anthony. We have what, 2 more rounds or 3 more?
Yes.
We're in the 17th.
These are my last 2 picks, I believe.
End of the 17th here.
End of the 17th, which is what these are. Yeah, whatever. All right.
18.
So we're almost there.
Yep. Yeah, unless it's super flex on Underdog, it's always 18 rounds.
All right. So Tim Patrick goes off the board. Anthony is now picking next. I will say I appreciate we got some likes on this program. Appreciate that, of course, as always. For those who like the show, for those who are still here, feel free to, again, like always, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified when we go live. But more importantly, as you're preparing, if you have a draft coming up this week, we have so much in the archives that we've been doing. If you go into our shows, we have made some shorts out of things coming out from the main show. We've had some other topics that we've done shows for. So definitely check all that out. Get as much information as you possibly can. And if you're watching them, and even though it's not live, if you have a comment to make, comment, because we're all on top of it. So one of us will see it and we will answer you. Anthony, just so you know, Pete said hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hello. How are you, buddy? How you doing?
Pete, I think he's on his way to AC. Is that what he's doing?
I don't know. He's
getting second thoughts. He might want to go home, sleep in his own bed tonight. Nice and comfy. Yeah. We'll see.
Pete did say Ray Davis didn't play today, by the way. Looks like the RB2 role is locked up. Could be.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Ty Johnson, come on.
I mean, the last report said it's going to be like a 2A, 2B role.
Yeah, I mean they kind of did that last year. They kind of used like 2 or 3 backs. So I mean you could kind of see that. But I think Davis will win that job. He'll show out.
Just out of general curiosity for folks who are fans of the program, we're gonna finish up this draft, and then Anthony and Steve will read off their teams. And you know what? Just for fun, since I wasn't in this draft, I will pick which team I like the most out of between the two of you. But Pete, I'm wondering, where are you right now? What kind of drink do you have in your hand? What are you doing? What are your plans? Are you in an IKEA, as Anthony suggested earlier? Are you half in the bag at a strip club? Where are you, buddy? Let us know.
Surprised you didn't take Gesicki there.
I already have Kelsey and Likely. I was thinking even going 3 deep at quarterback, but I wanted that extra receiver. Maybe I get 2 spike weeks out of Diami Brown.
Yeah.
Is Derek Carr going to make my team better when I have Love and Mayfield? Hopefully, right. I mean, if he does, then I'm fucked anyway.
So, Pete did say, I got Wendy's and say in the parking lot. I think I mean sat in the parking lot. He's very good at texting. He got the Wendy's and he sat in the parking lot. He debated going to AC. He decided to go home. 2-hour drive to AC, then 2 hours home. I get it when you're half in the bag, as you probably are, eating a junior bacon cheeseburger. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. Have a good night. Talk to you soon. All right. So
I may take the old Dennis Allen team right here to complete the draft.
Oof. Douchey Dennis Allen.
Or I might go Carson Steele with my last pick. Another one of Pete's boys there. I mean, I'm never going to draft this guy, so I mean, screw it.
That's why Pete likes your team. Pete said in the chat that he already likes your team more than Anthony's. Pete must be saying that because you said a couple times you drafted Pete's guy.
Yeah, well, I took Downs. Anytime you take Downs, you could have, Pete will like your team. No matter
he
what.
loves it.
Was Downs really on the fucking board?
No.
Round.
I was going to say, holy shit.
He took him rounds ago. All right, so the draft is done now?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay. So, Steve, read off your team. Talk about your thoughts. Then we'll get Anthony's team, his thoughts, and I will pick which team I like the most.
Hang on, I'm trying to pull it up here. This stupid I don't think my team loaded yet. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Don't worry about it.
It's got to be the top.
Pete, I do know that it was
here we go.
Bacon Cheeseburger, because Junior Bacon Cheeseburgers are the bloodline of any Wendy's visit. Go ahead, Steve. What do you got?
So the quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence. Jaden Daniels, the rushing upside. He should be very nice for fantasy. And now the one concern is, he runs so much. He's a rookie. He could get popped and, maybe miss a few games. In that case, I have Trevor Lawrence. Maybe I could have took another running back. Last year, BBM winner had 3 running backs, 3 tight ends. But things change year to year. And I still have 2 high-quality quarterbacks. I like Lawrence. This year with the addition of Brian Thomas, Ingram's looking nice. I think he'll bounce back from a down year last year. I didn't want him, though. But, if you were listening earlier, I wanted to go receiver there and take Dobbs or Shakir there in that pick. But I was overthinking, and the clock just ran up on me. McCaffrey, Henry, Kamara, Jalen Wright, Jordan Mason, who certainly looks good in the preseason. Mike, big-time Niners fan, already expects him to have that number 2 role locked up in San Fran, which could be very, very valuable, obviously, as we know. Carson Steele, this guy's like stiff-arming guys. He could be like the backup for Pacheco. You never know. He's got that hard-running style like Pacheco as well. And Deneric Prince, he's playing ahead of him. CH, we really haven't seen. He's got some issues going on. So, why not take a shot as your last pick in best ball for, a possible running back starting at some point with the Chiefs this year. Jalen Waddle, Terry McLaurin to go with Jaden Daniels, Xavier Worthy. Love him in Kansas City. Brian Thomas is certainly looking very nice. Of late, he's moving up draft boards. Jerry Jeudy, a guy that I've been on in the past. He's been very, very frustrating, but he should be this number 2 guy there in Cleveland. He should be. Maybe Cedric Tillman steps up, but we're expecting Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, right. Josh Downs, the high ankle sprain, but a good value. Maybe by week 6, week 7, he turns it up. That's always good for best ball. Jalen Tolbert, we just talked about CeeDee Lamb, and, Jerry Jones is wrecking ball that team. Maybe Jalen Tolbert's the number 1 guy. Luke McCaffrey, they shipped Dotson off. And I know there was a report yesterday that there's a report yesterday that Luke's not separating himself. But once you get on the field in a game, Luke makes a couple catches, that shit could change quick. And my bet is on him to, maybe emerge as that number 2 guy. And then Freiermuth, A lot of 12 personnel. Roman Wilson's not in camp. Van Jefferson stinks, like I mentioned. And then Chico Quanco, nice, talented, high young upside player. I was going to go 3 tight ends there, but I wanted to get another running back there just in case.
I dig it. All right, I dig it. Now, Anthony, before you read off your team, I want to just there's shots being fired on YouTube by Pete.
Okay, of course there is.
Pete Pete says Anthony needs to start drafting better. Take a note from Steve.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah,
okay, you fucking run bastard.
Get off my fucking lawn. Go ahead, read your team.
Okay, so Harrison, Gibbs, Etienne, Travis Kelce through the first 4 rounds, Godwin, Christian Watson, Najee Harris, Jordan Love. So I complete the Green Bay stack. And then Shakir, Rashid Shaheed, Darnell Mooney, and then Ezekiel Elliott. So at this point, my strength is wide receiver. I feel like a lot of ceiling there. I don't love my running back, so that forces me to carry 6 instead of 5. I get my second quarterback in Baker to complete the stack with Chris Godwin. Then Bucky Irving, another that's a tri-stack there. Then I take Marshawn Lloyd, which gives me the other rookie running back tied to my other stack. I didn't even realize I did that, but that's kind of fun.
Well, I told you to do that. I left them there for you to take. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right. He did.
If you win the million, you got to give me.
That's fine.
Percentage.
I'll take care of everybody.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Isaiah Likely.
I'm hosting. I'll take some percentage too. Go ahead.
I took Isaiah Likely as my tight end too. When you have Kelce, you don't really need more than 2 tight ends. And Likely, I know Steve loves Isaiah Likely. They're saying that he could be more of like a joker role, have a bigger role this season. Yeah, and I think he's a steal round 15. He's usually going before round 15. And then I finished my draft with Lloyd, Corley, and Diami Brown. I like Corley a lot. I know they have him slated as like the wide receiver 4. I think Corley could be a big sleeper this season with the Jets. I love this kid.
You know what? I mean, I remember watching Rodgers, back with the Packers. He likes to throw those little quick screen passes, and that's what Corley does. So, maybe Corley doesn't, he's not going to get a lot of yards, a lot of catches, but he could finish maybe with like 6-7 touchdowns.
Yeah. No, I like
where that could happen.
Back 9 Train says hi. We say hi back. Cheers to you. While you're here, please hit the like button. We appreciate you. But yeah, I love both teams, actually. I do. I'm going to give the slight edge to Anthony. I like some of the stacks he did. I like some of that. But both rosters are good-looking rosters.
Yeah, I like Anthony's team.
The
only thing that threw me off about my team, that Lawrence thing, a little bit.
Yeah, but
I did pick a couple of guys that I was trying to diversify just a little bit. Well, like Kamara and Judy and Freiermuth, and even Downs. But I like all those picks. They're all quality picks.
And again, with your draft, getting Jalen right, because again, if anything goes wrong in that Dolphins backfield in terms of injuries, which there is a likelihood for it, Jalen Wright, getting him at that point, if that happens, is going to be
that's a nice pick.
That's a nice pick,
and that's what you're looking for in these best ball drafts. You want these high upside guys like a Jordan Mason too. If something happens to CMC, I mean, he should be the guy. And he looks like he stepped it up a little bit of level. And I think Shanahan has noticed that too, because Shanahan was talking about him a couple weeks ago, saying we got to get this guy more usage.
We are getting asked before we go off the air here. Back 9 Train, who did come in and say hi, he did say, I got a fantasy question. You all mind talking about it? Absolutely. Yes. We will. Fire it into the chat. We'll answer that before we go off air. William Stevenson is here, the wonderful William Stevenson. God bless William Stevenson. He said, I'll have to watch this one back. Busy day at the dealership today. When is the dealership not busy?
And anybody, hanging on, listening right now, do me a favor, go to YouTube. Even if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, go to YouTube. You're watching on YouTube right now. Subscribe, like. It will help us immensely. We've been growing a ton on the YouTube format, which is something we've had a lot of difficulty doing, despite our successes on the web and on the podcast. So, we want to kind of ride the algorithm. I'll just keep it real with you. We need this to ride that wave. Sure. So help us out. Subscribe and like. And obviously, we love answering your questions. So we'll do that as much as possible.
And to piggyback off of what Anthony's saying there, which is all correct, I do want to also mention, which I'm going to start to hammer into this, is since we are so invested in what's going on YouTube, if you're watching a video that's not live and if you ask a question, we will see the question. We will answer that question. Yeah. We will have a conversation with you, and we'll help to put you in the right direction. Or if you have a take that goes against what we have, we'll love to talk about it. So if you're watching an old video, don't feel like you're gonna add a comment and it's gonna go nowhere. We will definitely answer.
There's 4 of us that are one of us is always available out of the 4 on
1,000%. All right, so back 9 is asking his question. He said, "My league is an early QB heavy draft. I'm picking 3. Who do I pick because I will have Mahomes, Hurts, or Lamar?" So he's picking 3, QB heavy draft. He's thinking he's going to have those 3 at his disposal: Mahomes, Hurts, or Lamar, or 2 of those picks. Right? He said he did go on to say, or 2 of those picks based on whatever happens at the start of the draft. 2 QB leagues, so quarterbacks are kind of important.
If you think one of those 3 are going to be available, I would prioritize Mahomes and then Hurts. Mm-hmm. I think Mahomes with this reloaded arsenal, this is always a team that's pass heavy. He has a chance to do something special this year, extra incentive. They are chasing a 3rd straight Super Bowl. I think that obviously matters. And, we should see this team. If you look, Rice, I don't think he gets suspended this year. At this point, it's probably not happening. Yeah. Hollywood should be back very, very soon. You got Worthy, you got Kelsey. Like, this is a loaded team. Pacheco can catch the ball. And then if you lose out of Mahomes, like Jalen Hurts would obviously be a fine consolation. That he's another guy. I'm a big fan of Kellen Moore. What he's going to bring to that offense and that Philly defense. They have a lot of young talent. But it's going to take a little bit to gel. That's a team that top 5 offense built in because they're going to have to throw and score a ton to not only stay in games, but also win games. So Mahomes slightly over Hurts.
Yeah, Steve, I'll go next to you on this because I agree with Anthony and everything he said, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time on that. I agree. Mahomes is ranked my quarterback 1 this year. But Steve, I'll kick it to you again. If you have your choice of those quarterbacks, Mahomes, Hurts, or Lamar in a 2 QB league, where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go Mahomes as well. He's the best quarterback of the bunch. We all know Mahomes has got the championships. So despite his down fantasy year last year, they bring in Worthy, they bring in Hollywood Brown. They want to go down the field more, which is only going to open up things for Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce underneath. Yeah. So, I mean, Mahomes, we've seen him have #1 fantasy seasons. He also has less risk to being hurt, whereas we saw Jalen Hurts pull up a little bit last year. Lamar's been hurt in the past. He's missed games. So I think he's the safest pick. Can't go wrong with Mahomes there at the 3rd.
There you go. And he did add after that, he said, I was also thinking Mahomes because he can stack him with Kelsey in the 4th or 5th round. So if you could do that, then, God bless you. Do it up. So there you go. All right. He also said it's a 10-man league. So so on the 2nd round, do I draft another QB or wait for the 3rd? I think for us to answer that right now when the draft is not happening yet, I would tell you go with your gut. There's a lot of times.
It's super flex?
It's super. Yeah, there's 2. It's a 2 QB, he said.
Okay, then me personally, I like getting my quarterbacks early.
I like getting your quarterbacks early, but I would also there's also a thing where you can go in with a strategy, but watch how the draft develops. That's something that a lot of people don't remember. They just go in with a strategy, and that's what they go with, which, whatever, can sometimes be fine. But see what's going on in that 2nd round. Are people harping on quarterbacks? If they're harping on quarterbacks, and if they did so in the 1st round, then then go ahead then go ahead and grab one. If not, because again, you're at the 3 picks. So if you don't take one in the 2nd round, kind of look at those teams before you, teams after you, I'm sorry, and see where that draft's going to go. If you're willing to take the leap, and wait till the 3rd round to grab quarterback. But I would say, it
all depends on the draft.
I would probably take quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds, but I would also say keep an open mind and see how that 2nd round unfolds.
I mean, he's saying that all 32 is going to get. I mean, I don't want to be the guy who has like Jalen Hurts or Mahomes, and then you want to get cute at another position in the 2nd round, and then coming back, you get like Derek Carr.
Right.
Like and this is not super flex. Super flex, you have a little bit more flexibility. You have to start 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
So like I'm going to bang out the best 2 on the board.
Bang it out, baby.
Yeah, but like sometimes that second quarterback that you're reaching for could be like somebody, and then you got like a freaking Saquon or a Gibbs sitting there or a Taylor, and it's like the quarterback. Do I want to take this, quarterback where I can wait another round and get a quarterback of same value? So again, depends who you like, what's really left there. So I mean, you can go both ways, but sometimes the quarterbacks get that they get taken early. Or, I mean, so you could get 2 quarterbacks, but that leaves a lot of value for those RBs and receivers anyway. So you could still end up with a good team. So it's all about the draft. Really.
We have, which good point, by the way, Steve. We have a few more questions, only 2 more questions, I think. Super fan Pete wants to ask, how much is Anthony bench?
Not enough.
Not enough. Okay. That's a good answer. That's good. Damon X over on YouTube. Appreciate you, buddy. Nico or Waddle in full PPR? I would go Nico. They're both close, but I am a little leery of the injuries with Waddle.
Nico.
Yeah.
Well, Nico, Waddle, let's be real. Nico has missed games every single season of his career. There's an injury concern there too. But the difference is like Nico's a number 1 while Waddle's a number 2.
Yeah, right. We expect Nico to be the number 1. There's a world where maybe he's not, but for where he's being drafted, everything we expect. The most,
not a world I want to live in.
And the thing is that the Texans are going to, spread it around a little bit more, whereas the freaking Dolphins just so much Tyreek.
Yeah,
and Waddle's going to be a little more, volatile, where Nico's going to be more consistent for your lineups.
Back nine train, who we answered the question for, he did say thank you, he appreciates it, and he's going to sub to you boys. Amazing. We appreciate it, man, and we'll see you next time we record.
Ryan Flournoy, rookie receiver for the Cowboys, another touchdown. So Jerry is watching this and saying no CD.
Jerry is tagging CD in that Twitter post of the guy scoring.
Yep, 100%.
He's tagging CD Lamb on Twitter right now.
Pete is just stuffing his face with junior bacon cheeseburgers and drunkenly messaging the show. He's saying, you guys are content creators. You would know that because you know us and you're a content creator as well. Can you call a projected top 5 pick a my guy when flag planting? Yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want, man. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
I mean, is it weak? Do you want to reach a little deeper and really plant a flag? Sure, but you can do whatever the fuck you want, man. If you're,
I would say like if it's like Breece Hall, why can't that be a flag plant? If you're saying Breece Hall is going to finish as the number 1 running back,
I think there's more of a wow factor to planting a flag on a guy going in, say, the 9th or 8th round as opposed to say the 1st round. But no, but I also agree. Like if Anthony's uber passionate, and by the way, to kind of actually defend Anthony here, when usually I go and just fucking rip the hell out of him, you're talking about 3 running backs: Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall. Those are 3 backs a lot of people are debating. Those are you can make a case that all 3 of those guys, one of those could finish number 1.
Or is it more of a flag plant to say Garrett Wilson's going to finish as a number 1 wide receiver? That's probably more of a flag plant.
That's more of a flag plant, but I think it would be a flag plant, Anthony, for you to say it. I'm not saying you're going to do this when we do that show, which will be on Friday. If you guys want to watch, be sure to subscribe. If you did that, I think it is a bit of a flag plant to say, hey, Breece Hall is going to finish as the RB1. Like, that's your flag plant. It's not that Breece Hall is going to be good. We know he's going to be good. But to say he's going to be the RB1 in fantasy football, that is a flag plant.
Yeah, you got to back it up with some context there. Some strong context. Like
which
that.
We will, which is why subscribe.
There you go.
So there you go. All right, Pete, we're answering one more question, and then we're actually getting off air because you're the only guy asking questions now. When you're drunk in a parking lot, just go home, buddy. It's going to be fine. It's going to get, but he's drunk in the Wendy's parking lot. He said it. When Steve gets a haircut, sure, he can get 3 on the top. Okay.
I cut my own hair. I think this is a 4 right now.
Okay.
I usually go if I shave my own head, which when I'm not doing, I usually use a 0.
I used to go like a 1 or 2 when I was younger, but I can't do that anymore. I like to keep at least a 4, and then I grow it out for a little bit. Then I go back to like a 5 or 4, some shit like that.
I'm growing at the top, but I just got a haircut today, and the sides are on a 2.
Nice.
So that's how I'm rolling. But all right. So, Pete, if you have any more questions, just text us in the group chat because you're friends with us, and we'll answer you. But yeah, so that's gonna do it for today's show. Again, we appreciate the support, we appreciate the likes. I will also tell you guys, feel free to like and subscribe to this show, hit the bell icon, you'll be notified every single time we go live. Anthony mentioned we have an action-packed show. Anthony, action-packed show next few days, next week. Anthony, what was that lineup again?
Monday, bus sleepers. Wednesday, final movers. Thursday, futures, and Friday, flag plants.
So there you go. All right. So yeah, we're going to be coming at you next week with all the heavy stuff. And then we're right into the season, man. We are going to run through a wall right through February with the Super Bowl. So join us. We want to help you in the best way to win your fantasy football championships. Until next time, stay thirsty, be kind to one another. We'll catch you on the flip side.